This morning, kind of serendipitously, I kind of stumbled upon an article that's in the Writers Chronicle, this recent issue about translation by Dr. Kurt Heinzelman, who's a professor over at UT. And in it, he's kind of responding to the old Robert Frost quote that poetry is what's lost in translation. And he's kind of he turns the quote around and tries to think about how poetry could be what is gained through translation. And I was thinking about that, knowing that I was going to be introducing Liliana Valenzuela and her great career as a translator, and how translating or translating literature is not just literally translating the words over to what their possible equivalent could be in another language, but then also being mindful of the beauty of the work and the aesthetics and all these other different things. And that what Dr. Heinzelman is kind of getting into, and that in translating a work, you are still acting as a poet, and in that act you are rewriting or remixing the poem, and it becomes the translators to a certain degree instead of it just being the person who originally wrote it. And I thought that was really interesting, and thinking about how Liliana has the skill to be able to do that and translate such great writers such as Sandra Cisneros and Julia Chavez, I think, right? Alvarez. And not only the skill it takes to do that, but also the pressure that it must feel to be able to do those things well, especially knowing that they have such a great literary reputation. But then also seeing how that skill and that crafting and attention to detail translates over into her own original work. And so I feel like that, obviously, I'm not sure which influenced which, but you can see how they're speaking and singing to each other, and it's pretty great. And Liliana Valenzuela is an award-winning poet, as well as an acclaimed Spanish translator of works of authors like I mentioned, Sandra Cisneros, Julia Alvarez, and Denise Chavez. And she's a transplanted Chicana from Mexico City. Valenzuela lives here in Austin, where she writes for Aurora C. And she has, are you going to read from your chapbook as well?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A chapbook, Codex of Journeys, Bendito Caminino. And so, again, you're going to be in for a treat. Are you going to read some translations too, or mostly original works?
Yeah, mostly original.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Yeah. So please welcome Liliana.
Thanks for that introduction. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of translating many great writers, and also around the same time I started writing my own poetry and trying to translate it into English back then, and realizing it was easier to write directly in English than to translate into what is your secondary language. So it's been a journey of many years that I still really enjoy. And in this chapbook, Codex of Journeys, Bendito Camino, it's a combination. Some poems I wrote in English, translated myself into Spanish, others I wrote in Spanish, and my friend Angela McEwen translated into English. So they go in all directions. And so I'll read a few of those and then a couple new poems. And the cover is by Liliana Wilson, it's a local artist from Chile and Austin. West African market women, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire. Cassava moistened lips, red coconut nails. I saw the women cleaving water like ships around the market. This women's territory, queens of the table full of giant conches, braid each other's hair in thousands of little braids, big breasts, glistening purple-black skin, regal in their party dresses. Huge yellow and violet flowers, giant deep green seeds explode on African versions of Victorian dresses. Fitted blouse, seamstress tailored petticoats. They carry the world in baskets on their heads. All the women carry their infants on their backs, all but me. Chiaroscuro, night market, Kumasi, Ghana. The night drinks the colors, sucks them in, and we are shadows. The travelers descend from the lorry to eat in the night market. The merchandise is piled at the foot of some candles, fried plantains, fish, kenke. I breathe, my shoulders droop. The cold sweat warms up. I plunge into darkness as if it's nothing. The sunless blanket sucks her identity. Now I am not Bruni, white-skinned, only shadows. Black skin, only shadows. Between your life and my life, shadows, nothing more. Read that original poem in Spanish. Claroscuro, mercado nocturno, Kumás y gana. La noche bebe los colores, los chupa y somos sombras. Los viajeros bajan del camión a comer en el mercado nocturno. La mercancía se amontona al pie de unas velitas, plátanos fritos, pescado, kenke. Respiro, mis hombros caen, el sudor frío se calienta, salto a la oscuridad. Como si nada, la cobija sin sol nos chupa la identidad. Ya no soy Bruni, mi piel blanca, solo sombras. Su piel negra, solo sombras. Entre tu vida y mi vida, sombras nada más. Because that's one example of something that got lost in translation. It was inspired on a popular song, I think, by Lucha Villa, and there's no way you can say it in English because the song doesn't exist in English. Read one more about Africa. F as in foul. In the Ford dining room in Ghana, an ugly philosopher with stringy hair attacks me with obtuse words. The self-styled philosopher claims to be illuminated. Could it be the burnt-out light bulb up his ass? Colonial vestige, champion of liberal causes, which free him to try to get me to his room to drink rum. Fat chance, what? Hundreds of years and still arrogant. It's that Chaucer and Ghana don't go together, see? I never thought I would have anything to do with the English, and here, even though I look white, I'm not your kind. And I'll read one from the couple erotic poems. Cinnamon skin. You cinnamon tea, I need you. You cinnamon tea, I found you at the beach. You cinnamon tea, I like you better than coffee. With your raw onion breath and palm oil moistened lips. Cinnamon skin, sweet coconut cinnamon, and yellow thighs galloping untiringly through the grasslands. You cinnamon tea, I smell your hairy armpits. You cinnamon tea, I see your mane imaging a vast world, exuberant, untamed. You cinnamon tea, I need you. You cinnamon tea, I am drinking you. Cinnamon skin, you enter me. And one in a more, spiritual vein. She should have been a nun in a convent, baking daily bread, singing hymns from dawn to dusk, unattached to the weary world and its heartache, silent for days, communing with flowers, birds, and garden poppies. Crimson red tears of blood from the calyx, drinking Christ's blood from a poppy leaf. Alone in silent company, barefoot, sackcloth habit, penitence for the world, kneeling in the lineless desert, frosty, cold cell, Moorish arches, enveloping silence. And then I'll switch to some more recent poems, having emerged from a hibernation last year. I had some health issues, and I feel like I'm just coming back into the world. So I'll read two in English, and the last one is in Spanish. The second half laid bare, naked head and bare naked heart, an open lotus ready for rain. I emerge from forest dark, covered in frost, following the light of my friends' smiles. I carry survival, hunger, a fierce doggedness to stay alive. Today begins a new life, more aware, more conscious of each day, as a finite loaf of bread, a single cup of wine, a breath, in, out, with a full heart. 2, I never asked for it, fear my mother's fate, yet could not believe it when it struck. Statistics is what happens to other people, immune somehow to life's frailties. I was not. A process. It's what we do in 21st century America. Slash, poison, and burn. Attack the complex disease we know as cancer. New technology, old barbarity. It's what we do. Like others go to healers, drink tree sap, go deep in sweat lodges and vision quests. We throw everything but the kitchen sink at this fearsome dis-ease. 3, postscript. And after the knife, the poison, and the burn, we keep putting one foot after another with what's left. Dented but functional, more alive somehow. This is our second chance to live well, to find balance between sweat and the ripe peach on the branch, sacred solitude and true communion, our life's work, and simply being. This other one is called Samla mig sammen. It's a phrase in Danish that means something like putting yourself back together. Gather all the pieces, a sore clavicle, dark owl eyes, squeaky feet and clumsy hands, a lopsided breast, after oodles of chemo and radiation. Call it back to me, each part, each cell, each joint, reassemble with care, as recently as the last rains since I've rejoined the living. The achiness of my back, the arms wanting to fly, tell me I'm on the right path. Grease it up, flex and point, stretch it till it hurts. All these poems were written in a retreat in upstate New York near Claverack. It was a really beautiful place out in the country. And it was like almost a year ago. And this one is in Spanish. Tan solo quiero la negrura de tus nubes, la espesa miel de tus pestañas al final del verano, de este año en que aún vivo, los venados de cola blanca, los conejos pastando, un millar de abejas que zumban y me besan las plantas de los pies, dolor y dulzura. Las horas se vuelven largas en tu ausencia, mis días cortos en el casi otoño, las aguas del estanque profundas como tu mirada, así de un último instante a la mía. Nos perdemos, nos encontramos, comiendo diminutas moras silvestres como tu alma, que ha caminado centurias junto a la mía. Los senderos marcados en el mapa no siempre corresponden. A veces el camino se adentra bosque adentro, oscuro, misterioso, húmedo, sigo tus huellas en el musgo. En la enfermedad y ahora de nuevo en la salud, caminamos juntos, respiramos hondo un nuevo día, donde el sol besa los maizales. Las monarcas se preparan para volar al sur y la cordillera Catskills a lo lejos se cubre con su manta oscura hasta mañana. Thank you.
I realized a second ago that I spoke about how